You may recognize this one, Jacob, and our good friend Joe Furman, who is a local rancher up in Cache Valley. We're going to be talking to him, and he's going to be teaching Jacob how to grill a steak. This and much more when we come back on Cooking with Chef Bryan. Well, I'm always excited for the show, but today I think I'm extra excited because Joe's with us. Not that you aren't here, Jacob. That's always a pleasure.
This is extra special.
It is extra special, and he has come all the way down from Cache Valley. And if you're not familiar with Cache Valley, it's the northern part of Utah, and it's just outside of Logan, where he lives in a small town called Providence. Am I correct on that?
Close by, yes.
Close by. What would that area be called that you live in?
We're actually in the county, but west of Providence.
That's what I was thinking,
Yes.
but it's just west of the old Macy's departments, or Macy's store up there,
Right.
grocery store, and beautiful area. And I was lucky enough to come up and visit with you, Joe,
You were.
and learn a little bit more about you. Shall we take a look at this?
I guess.
All right, let's take a look at this video and see what we thought when we went
Okay.
up and met Joe Furman. Of Joe Furman, and special thanks to him for letting us come up here and visit with him. And I was just asking you, Joe, where are you from?
I was born and raised in Providence all my life. I'm fourth generation farmer rancher here in
wow.
Cache Valley. Yeah, my great grandfather came and settled in Providence, and part of the land that he acquired back then we still have.
How many acres?
I think he had 80 acres to begin with, yeah. And actually the ranch that we're on now is part of the Elkhorn Ranch, which was settled in 1855. Brigham Young sent a group of people with a large herd of cattle into Cache Valley, and they got here late. They got an early winter, and they didn't put up enough feed, and most of the cattle perished.
What's your favorite beef dish? I've always wanted to ask a rancher that.
A big steak.
A big steak. What
big
kind?
Steak. I like T-bones. I like filet. It's hard to beat a good sirloin too.
That's true. That's true. What's your best way to prepare it?
On the grill.
On the grill.
On the grill.
Salt, little pepper, little thing. Any more?
Slow cooking, and that does it.
Well, Joe, I ended the interview a little short there. For the full interview, you can go on to the Cooking with Chef Bryan YouTube channel and watch the full interview on it, and it was a pleasure to come up there. And I got to say, it was a feat to get your hat off today. You always have that hat on. And I said, well, maybe we better take it off.
They wouldn't let me wear my favorite hat either.
How about at the end? We'll let you wear it. How's
Okay.
that? So,
Fine.
of course, since Joe's favorite dish is steaks, we have to do steaks today. And Jacob is going to show us how to do steaks with 3 different seasonings.
Yes.
And I love that. So let's dive right in and
We've
talk
got
about
3
it.
different rubs, types of seasoning. And Joe, on your favorite steak, if you've got a good steak, what do you say it only needs?
If it's a good steak, it doesn't need anything, Jake.
Okay, well, these are good steaks, but we're going to show the people at home just how you can change it up a little bit.
A little salt, a little pepper,
So,
some rub.
In honor of you as a cowboy, we're going to start with the cowboy rub.
Okay.
And if you'll help me out here, we're going to start with 2 teaspoons of paprika. And we measure like Chef Bryan measures.
There you go. Well, I had to laugh because, earlier you were looking for all the measuring devices, and I'm like, I never measure, so just put things in there.
And then we have some dried thyme, 1.5 teaspoons of dried thyme, garlic powder, and onion powder. A teaspoon of each of those. And where is the, let's see, there we go. Keep me in line here. Teaspoon of that. And then salt if you want it, and you can hold off on that if you'd like. We're going to hold off on it. And then just a little bit of black pepper.
Is there a reason why you hold off on the salt?
Oftentimes if you salt after you're done cooking, then it doesn't draw that moisture out. Sometimes if you salt before, it does draw it out. So there's your cowboy rub.
Okay, so there's the first rub.
There's the first rub. Second rub is the garlic thyme rub. And we have just some fresh, 3 tablespoons of fresh cut up thyme. And then we need 2 tablespoons of sweet paprika. So that's not what we want. Here we go. Yeah. 2 tablespoons of paprika, and then we need a couple cloves of garlic.
Now, I have to point out, Jacob, you are using the cut up garlic there instead of fresh garlic, which is fine.
Yes.
Because I talked about this the other day on TV, using processed garlic like this, and just realize that it's going to have more of a pickled taste.
Yeah, a
because
little
it's
bit.
pickled in there, so
Yeah.
that's how it preserves. So
It's a lot faster if you don't have a
Much
garlic
faster,
press.
much
So
faster.
That's why we're doing it, right?
Yes.
So and then we just need a little bit of ground red pepper.
which
am
is
I
the
doing on the
cayenne.
mixing?
I think you're
Joe,
doing pretty
you're a
darn good
professional.
there.
Doing all right.
Professional
Red
mixer.
pepper.
So just a quarter teaspoon of ground red pepper is all we need on that. And that is our garlic thyme rub.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have the cumin lime rub. We have just about a half a teaspoon of lime peel
Oh,
that we've
great.
ground up.
Uh-huh.
And then a little bit of the red pepper.
And that red pepper is spicy, so
Yes,
this is going to have a
yes.
nice, tangy,
And
spicy
then
flavor
2
to
teaspoons of brown sugar. So this will kind of help
it. Uh-huh.
sweeten it up a little bit, or a lot if you put a lot in.
I think so. Joe, how do you like your steaks cooked? I'm
Medium
curious.
well.
Medium well?
Medium
Okay.
well.
And then we need a little bit of garlic as well in that. Okay. And some cumin.
Oh, so it's going to have a real smoky
Yes. Oh, this hasn't
thing.
even been opened.
Oh, open that up there.
Let's see if I
Cumin's
can.
one of those flavors that you've all had it before. It's the flavor of chili. And so if you've ever had chili before, that's cumin.
And you can smell that. That smells
Yeah,
really
smells
good.
very
Then mix
fragrant.
with the lime
Uh-huh.
and the garlic.
It's gonna be
delicious.
fantastic.
So those are your 3 rubs.
So do you rub them on the steak now? Let's go ahead
yeah,
and rub
we
them
just
on
go
there.
ahead and
We're gonna
rub
start
those
to
on
cook
these
'em.
steaks, just like so. And this, instead of a T-bone, we have a porterhouse.
Uh-huh.
The difference between a porterhouse and a T-bone is the size of the tenderloin.
Oh, I
So
didn't know that. Good
If
job.
it's a 1 1/4 inches or larger, then it can be a porterhouse.
Okay.
So
So
with these rubs, you're just going to take it and rub it on.
do you let these marinate for any time?
You can let them sit for 30 minutes or so in the refrigerator if
not
you'd like,
long.
but you don't have to.
What a great
They're
thing.
ready to go.
I
So-
love it. Well, they're gonna keep rubbing these spices on her. We'll get these cooked up, and I've got a great tomato coleslaw when we come back. Special thanks to Klondike brand potatoes for helping to make this show possible. Hi everyone, Chef Bryan here, cooking fresh with Klondike brand potatoes. And this time of the year with the weather changing, nothing is better than a hot bowl of clam chowder to just take that chill out of the air. And of course, my secret to a great chowder are Klondike brand potatoes. Visit KlondikeBrands.com for great recipe ideas, cooking tips, and money-saving coupons. And while you're there, check out the secret to this deliciously unique clam chowder recipe. Klondike brand potatoes, cook fresh in your kitchen. Well, if you're joining us, you can hear and I wish smell the savory sounds of T-bone steaks cooking, Jacob. It is
Smells
truly
delicious.
This is one of my very favorite dishes. I'm from Idaho, and so meat and potatoes, steak and potatoes, my kind of language.
Yeah.
I love it. Now, Joe was with us. He was helping you cook. He's going to join us here in the last of the show, and we are talking all about steaks and different side dishes to go with it. Now, I have 3 different ways that I'm cooking. I have a panini press style grill over here, which cooks both from the top and the bottom at the same time. And this particular one is really cool. I'm not promoting it. You can buy whatever one you want, but I like it because it'll tell me, as you can see here, I'll turn that so you can see it a little better. This big light that you're seeing here actually changes color with the doneness of the steak. And so that's
very helpful.
I think it's very helpful. And when, as a chef, I'm like, yeah, cool. Anything that takes the bother out of it. But I will put a link if you want this one from, you can order it from my friends at Macy's department store. It's a great way to cook, very efficient. Now over here we have 2 different style of grill pans.
Yes.
So we have a square one and we have a round one, and they are both non-stick.
Yes.
And so it's just the size. It's not going to matter how they cook up here. The square one is a little easier to actually fit more in there because you don't have the round circle. So you have the edges, you can really fit more in there. So that's something to think of when you are purchasing them. They're both non-stick because I don't like to clean up dishes. That's not my favorite thing. Non-stick, they just clean right up. And with the new non-sticks, as you can see, you have beautiful grill marks on them. And so that's a good thing. So 3 different ways that we're cooking the steaks here with 3 different rubs. You need to choose whichever one is the best method for you. Now, you can also go right out on the grill and do it. And just for ease of the show, we're not out on the grill today. And so normally, would I do these out on the grill? Yes. I would love to do these out on the grill.
Preferably.
Preferably. Well, I'm going to let you keep cooking
All
along
right.
there. You adjust the heat as needed. This one is right now at rare. It just beeped at me and
Okay.
told me. And I know Joe said he likes his medium well. So
okay.
we'll take it to medium well and take this one out.
Sounds
and
good.
let's grab a big platter here that these steaks can go on when you take them off. Just set them
Sounds
right on
good.
there. So I thought a tomato coleslaw would be so delicious with these steaks, and it's an easy recipe that I put together. And it's going to start with some fresh tomatoes from the grocery store. And so steaks are very heavy. Red meat generally is a heavier dish. That's why it's so delicious in the winter. And I thought a nice fresh tomato dish would be fantastic. And so all I'm going to do is dice up some of these tomatoes here. And then to go along with the coleslaw, I'm going to slice up and add in some green cabbage. Now you can use purple cabbage, which is perfectly fine to do. It's just that green cabbage, it was on sale.
There
So
you
I
go.
thought, you know, why not get that was on sale and have a little fun with it. Now when you cut up green cabbage or purple or any cabbage, you have a hard stem. And you don't want to add the stem into the dish because it's very fibery and it would break your dentures.
Is that what your grandma used to say?
That's what my grandma used to say. So what I'm going to do is cut that in half.
Good
and you
idea.
can see, here's the stem in the cabbage. And this is what we want to cut out of this. And so all I'm going to do is just kind of cut in a V and cut that stem right out of there. And you can see now that I've removed it. You can feed this to the pigs.
Oh, there you go.
Because
Is that what
cows
they do in
won't eat
Idaho?
it. They do. Cows won't eat it. They're smarter than that. So simply, I'm going to cut this in half here and then just kind of shred this. And it's not a really thin shred. I'm using a little thicker slice on that simply because I want that texture in on the dish. And so when you do that, you can adjust this. You can cut this in a food processor if you want to. Me, I just do it right here on the cutting board. Little thick, add that into there. Now, I like to use some onion in there, and so since this is a raw dish, I like red onions. They're a little more sweet than regular onions. Plus, they add a lot of color to the dish, and so that's important as well. So I'm going to just dice up some red onion to add into it, or you can leave it in its, you know, the big rings like this, either way. However you do this, I just want to point out, don't worry about having every single piece perfectly cut on there. And the reason for that is I want this to be homemade. I don't want it to look like it came out of a factory. I want it to look homemade because sometimes I think we get so lost in the fact that, oh, I gotta go buy that, it's gotta be perfect, that we lose the deliciousness of the food. So don't worry if it's not the perfect things. So I've added the tomatoes, the cabbage, the onions. When we come back, I'm going to show you how to put together a quick little vinaigrette to go with it. And we're going to be grilling up some potatoes to go with this. And we'll show you this and how to finish up the steaks and much, much more when we come back. Well, welcome back. We're just prepping to show you how to grill up some potatoes to go with our steaks here. And Jacob has grilled beautifully those steaks. Seriously, they look amazing. I'm really excited about it. And I'm going to have you create a really simple vinaigrette, lemon vinaigrette to go on our coleslaw. Okay. So it's not the traditional where you mix mayonnaise in with it. So it's more of a German style with a vinaigrette on it. They are more of my favorites. So it's going to start with some fresh lemon juice. Okay. So why don't you go ahead and put some of that fresh lemon juice on there. I'm going to grab a plate here because what I'm going to do is I have these Klondike Gold Dusts and I'm just going to lay them out on the plate. And simple sometimes is best, and that's the key that I'm going to use with this here. I'm just going to simply take a little bit of seasoned salt from my friends at Real Salt, and I'm going to give those just a little sprinkling of some seasoned salt on one side, and then a little sprinkling of some pepper. And then we'll just turn it over and we'll do the same thing for that. And if you'll fish out any seeds that possibly could have gone into there.
No seeds at all.
Oh, that pepper just went up my nose. If I sneeze, I'm so sorry. Okay, put that little salt, seasoned salt, a little bit of pepper as well. The nice thing about potatoes, really, you can put them any way that you want to. I decided to do slices because it'd be easier to grill them. And so you can do wedges, you can do really whatever you want. I'm going to put these right on this grill. We're going to grill them off on there until they have these nice grill marks. and they're going to be delicious with this. Now, another thing you can do, you can actually get some Rhodes dough if you wanted to. Let it thaw out, proof a little bit, and then flatten the dough itself, and then grill it on the grill if you want some rolls to go with this. So, you know, there's a lot of things that you can do that's really going to be amazingly delicious. And so let's move this back here and move our salad up here.
right.
And all I'm gonna do to finish this up here is add a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. Now, this is a place for extra virgin olive oil. Here's the thing, there are 3 kinds of olive oils. There's olive oil, there's virgin olive oil, and there's extra virgin olive oil. Extra virgin has the most flavor to it. So really the only time it should be used is in a raw state, because that's why you buy it. You want the flavor. And so if you're gonna cook with it, it'll destroy all of the flavor in it. And so why do that? I'm gonna use a little seasoned salt in there and some pepper, a little seasoned salt. So since I'm using it in a raw state, I want to use the extra virgin because I want the flavor. Yeah. So here's a little bit of pepper, black pepper in there. I'm gonna have you whisk that together, if you would, please. While you're doing that, I'm going to grab some clean tongs down here so that we can toss that coleslaw.
Oh, that smells really good.
Doesn't that smell delicious? It's that bright, refreshing flavor of the lemons. Go ahead and pour that over that. So we're going to toss this up. Now this is really good since you said you could marinate your steaks for about 30 minutes.
Sure.
This would also be very good to marinate. You can let this kind of sit for about 30 minutes. So make everything in advance, get it ready to go. Because what happens is that marinade will help soften out the cabbage so that you have this very nice texture with the onions, the tomatoes, and the cabbage on there. Plus, it's beautiful. I mean, you've got all these great colors in there. And I'm kind of a pepper person. I love pepper, even though it makes me sneeze.
I love pepper as well.
So I am going to add just a little more pepper. People are like, wow, that's a lot on there.
You want them to be able to see it.
Exactly. Right. I do want them. I want, as I used to call it as a little kid, little dirt specks. So I want them to see the little dirt specks on there. So that looks perfect there. It's ready to go. The other reason I love vinaigrettes, you don't have to use a lot on the salad. It's not like a creamy dressing where we drowned everything. A little goes a long ways with these vinaigrettes here. And so that is ready to go. We'll serve that up here. And so with our potatoes, let's take a look at them. Oh, they're perfect. They're just beautiful. And where did those tongs go? Do you want to hand me the steak tongs? Because they're perfectly fine. They've touched some wonderful, just cooked meat. So we'll put these down. As you can tell, they don't take a long time to cook, and that's very nice when it comes to these types of things. And you can really, if you'd rather have the wedges, you can cut them into wedges, or you can cut them thicker slices if you want to. It really just depends on what you want in the kitchen. And so these are coming out nicely. I'm going to put a little more mark on the tops of these. And when we come back, we'll have this all finished. We'll have a delicious steak, tomato coleslaw, and some grilled up potatoes to go with our dish. I can't wait. We'll finish it up when we come back. Special thanks to Macy's Department Store for helping to make this segment possible. Well, welcome back, and you can see that those steaks look so amazing. That is why it's one of my favorite dishes. Steaks. How could it be? Oh, it is delicious. We have done steaks 3 different ways. I've created a tomato coleslaw for you, and we've grilled up potatoes to finish off this dish. And Joe, it has been a pleasure. Got your hat on now.
Yes.
You're official now.
I feel safe now.
Who are these 2 folks with you? Tell me who they
I brought family to give me a little bit of moral support. This is Jason and Carrie. Happy to have them with me.
Well, welcome. Glad you made a trip down to Salt Lake for us, so thank you so very much. And I'm going to create a plate here, and if you want to get us a steak there to try, Jacob, let's do the. Oh, that looks delicious. Absolutely delicious.
Steaks look as good as what we raise.
That's what you raise, and I'm such a proponent of buying local when you can. Perfect. It's perfect to me. I love
Just how you love
this.
it, huh?
How I like it is that I think this is the medium well one, though. I think you got one of the medium rare ones.
That's fine.
You'll have to just deal with it, Joe. 'Cause
I
that's
can handle it.
my favorite way to actually cook that. On this, I'm going to add some of our grilled potatoes here. And whenever I do a meat and potato dish like this, simplicity is the most important thing. I'm not going to worry as much about plating presentation to have this fantastic plating presentation. I'm letting the beef speak for itself. And so, you know,
As it should,
As
right?
it should. And as you can see, I mean, it is the central point of the plate.
you.
So that's very, very important. And here you have a delicious steak, the tomato coleslaw, and the grilled potatoes. Perfect for any dish. I mean, truly, any
looks
time
great,
of the
yeah.
year, I could eat
For
this
sure.
up, and I'm just
What a
dying
meal.
to try some of that.
Oh, should I have cut you a piece?
You should have cut me. I'll just take this steak here.
There we go.
How is it? Do you have a fork there,
I-
Jacob? Oh, I guess you don't get some, and
I'll
take
have
two
some
pieces.
later. You take my piece. So what's the
Ooh,
verdict?
that's
Very
the,
good. Very
Is
good.
that the lime cumin rub?
I'm not sure
I'm
which one
saying
that
it
was.
is because I can really
You can
taste
taste
the
it?
cumin.
Yeah?
Delicious. Thank you. Taste it.
Oh, you got me a fork.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even realize it.
It's good, isn't it?
That's delicious.
Very
I love
good.
it. I love it. All of these recipes you can go to cookingwithchefbryan.com and get. You can also always send me a message on Twitter at Chef Bryan. And you can find me on Pinterest, on Instagram, on Facebook. Have I missed any of the social media?
You're everywhere.
I am everywhere. Joe, do you have any questions?
No, it's been a pleasure to be here. Really
It has been a
appreciate
pleasure having you with us. Thank you so much. And Joe, I've never seen so many happy cows as I did at your ranch. Truly,
Well,
they smiled at us.
We try to keep them happy. We do.
They smiled at them, so you're chewing the steak here. So thank you so much for being with us.
You
It's
bet.
been an absolute pleasure.
Our pleasure.
As always, Jacob.
Hey.
We didn't burn any hot pads today.
Maybe next time.
Maybe next time. I'll see you all next time.